Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cranky Pundit podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morgan, the Cranky Pundit. And today's episode, guys, I just want to go through what is happening in the Saudi. It's hard not to see it and not to comment on it and not to be slightly afraid of it. Everybody's afraid of change, I guess. But like I don't think this is just a flash in the frying pan. I think these Saudi Arabian boys are playing for keeps right now. They've just bought golf. Are they just buying soccer now as well? Instead of me and the boys going to Liverpool every year, are we going to Al-Hilal versus Al-Nazir? Is that what we're doing? The Old Firm derby in the south of Saudi Arabia? Is that where we're going? Because I can barely afford the Liverpool holiday now as it is. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't think I can afford to go to Saudi Arabia every year. Now, before I start, kind of the first thing I said was everybody is afraid of change. Just in life, that's just the way it is. People just afraid of change. Change is good. Change is good. Of course, you can't stop a nation taking over. You can't say, "Oh, this is so unfair. They're buying all the best players in the world and bringing them to their league." That's what England are doing to everybody else. Don't act like any Irish person in this country playing for Cork City, Derry, wouldn't go in the morning to any Premier League club. Not only because it's a higher standard, but because it's more money. That's the bottom line. The money doesn't lie. Do you know? You go for the money. I'm sure some Cork City fellas would love to stay playing for Cork City and live next to their mam their whole life and call around to their grandfather and go for points in their usual spot. But it's all down to money, and that's why they go to Salford City and Torquay United. Do you know? It's money. Now on the bigger scale, that's why the big boys from the Premier League, not the big boys, but that's why they're able to sign some of the biggest names in the world. Ronaldo probably isn't the best player in the world, neither is Benzema or anything like that, but they are the best names in the world, like the people that everybody know. They're snatching them up, guys. They're snatching them up. It's not like the MLS when they'd sign every 39-year-old and you go there as a retirement home. They're taking guys with a couple years left in their career. Like Ruben Neves just signed for a Saudi Arabian club. Like Ruben Neves is 25, 26 years of age, just coming into the prime of his life. I'd be delighted if he came for Liverpool. Or if he, like, I'm sure United fans would love him, Arsenal fans would love him. Like, they've taken him, like, he's gone now, like, he's not in the twilight of his career, he's in his prime. So that's what scares me. And I think scared is a stupid thing to say. It doesn't scare me, obviously, I don't give a shit. But, like, that's what makes me think they're playing for keeps, do you know? And I hope and I wouldn't get sad, guys, because, look, it's nearly impossible to afford to watch every game. Everybody I know has a dodgy box, do you know what I mean? And, Jesus, that's how you're going to do it, like. You either go out to watch the game or get a dodgy box, because no one in their right mind is going paying for BT, Sky, Setenta. I think Setenta and Premier Sports are the same thing. We have a lot of different channels where you got to pay to watch all the games. So it's already gone ridiculous. A ticket for a Liverpool game is fucking bananas. Same for United to go for an Arsenal game. Like there was tickets for the last game of Arsenal's game this season because people thought they were going to lift the trophy for 18 grand. People bought a ticket for 18 grand to go see their team play against Wolverhampton. Do you know? So it's already bananas, guys. So I don't think the Premier League can be very angry. They're just getting a taste of their own medicine. That's basically all that's happening here. But yeah, we'll go through it, guys. We'll go through the players that are going there, the players that have been linked. There's been loads of them. There's been absolutely a monster amount of them. And it's not the end, guys. We're still not finished June. Like, we still got July and August to get through, but like another 2 months of this bullshit. And the more players that sign, the more players will sign. Do you know? The more competitive that league will get. And it's not even about the competitiveness of the league, but it's about who gets paid the most. But the more players you sign and the more players that go there, then everybody's going to go, what am I doing? Sure, there's a great standard over there and I get 5 times the money, 10 times the money. It's not like they're improving the money by a small bit. You'd actually be stupid not to take it. Like, I'm not even questioning players' loyalty in this one. Like, I'm not going, oh, he took the money. You would be stupid not to take the money they're offering you guys. They're offering like 200 million euros a year to kick a ball around. Like Benzema is getting 200 million euros a year. He was getting 14 million euros a year in Real Madrid, and that was taxed. So there's 50% tax, so he was getting 7 million a year. There's no tax in Saudi Arabia. That's all for keeps. So he's like 20 times his money. More than that. Do you know? So obviously, guys, like, I'm not going to sit here. This is not a podcast of going, oh, they're ruining the game. Money's ruining the game. Money ruined the game a long time ago. Do Do you know? There's no loyalty in the game anymore. I can't name a loyal player off the top of my head. Do you know? I cannot name one. Who's loyal anymore? Honestly, name one. Like, I can't. Like, do you know? And even if you can name someone loyal, it's probably down to that club being very rich and are able to afford to pay him. Like, Wilfred Zaha is a man that has actually rejected a Saudi Arabian team. He's the only man I know. Himself and Modric are the only two. Messi as well, probably. Messi accepted a 85 million euro or dollar deal to join Inter Miami and rejected Saudi Arabia. But I wouldn't give him props for that because he accepted a huge page packet from Qatar to be promoting the World Cup bid. So he's already taken oil money, if that's what people are calling it. He's already taken all that money and he's getting more in America. But Wilfred Zaha said he'd only leave Crystal Palace for a Champions League club, that the money that they're offering don't matter to him. So, to be fair, that's the most loyal thing I've ever heard. And Zaha has been truly loyal to Palace throughout his whole career. Went to Man United, didn't work out, came back, got numerous clubs, could have gone to Arsenal, could have gone to, I believe, City at one point, and didn't. Stayed at Crystal Palace. But look, this is not a Wilfred Zaha thing. Anyway. So let's go through it. So you already have Ronaldo, who's at Al Nassr. Joining him at that same club is Hakim Ziyech. So Hakim Ziyech has agreed terms with Al Nassr, and now possibly they're going getting Croatian midfielder Brazovic. Now, guys, that's what I mean. Like, it's not just like Brazovic just played in the Champions League final. I watched him last week play for Croatia twice. The man's a baller. The man, I'd love to have him. I'd love to have him at Liverpool. Like, so, like, you're not taking players that have nothing left in the tank. You're taking players that are fucking outstanding. Like, that's a serious team. Like, that's a serious team. Ziyech, Ronaldo, and Brazovic. Like, they're three quality players to be bringing into your club, like, at any level, you know. Al Ali just signed Edouard Mendy, and Al Ittihad signed Benzema, who's on 200 million euros a year, and N'Golo Kante, who's on 100 million euros a year. Again, no tax. That's take-home pay straight to the bank, baby. Laughing all the way to the bank with this money. And I'm not saying anything bad about him. If I got paid 10 times what I get somewhere else, I'm going, baby. That's just what we do, like, you know. For the same thing, you know. So now Al-Hilal is the team I actually want to go on about. So I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Al-Hilal. I hope I'm not offending all my Arabian people. I'm big fan of Aladdin. I was a big fan of Aladdin when I was small, you know. So yeah, big fan of Arabia. If any of you are out there needing some comedy in Arabia, my price is 1.5 million euros a gig, set fee. If any of you want to get on to me, that's my gig. Okay, so Al-Hilal. So Al-Hilal seem to be the Man City of this league. Guys, like, they're all multi-billion, trillion, like a bottomless pit of money. But it seems Al-Hilal, out of all the teams, have more than anybody else on top of that. They have... So they're just making it like, basically, yeah, they're Man City, right? So just signed Ruben Neves for 50 million. They're the team that took... they're also linked with Sergio Busquets, Neymar, Riyad Mahrez, and İlkay Gundogan. The same team is going after these players. Has bids in for all of them. Has made contact with their agents. Wants all of them. They actually tried to sign Luka Modric as well. And Luka Modric turned down a 3-year deal from Al-Hilal. And it was worth 200 million, guys. 200 million. So what's that? 66 million euros a year to go play? That's wrong. No, it's not. 66 million euros a year to go play ball. He rejected to stay at Real Madrid for another season, I believe. So like Neves, Busquets, Neymar, Riyad Mahrez, and İlkay Gundogan. Now the other thing, a lot of Muslim players have been linked with it. I believe that would probably be an easier glass, same culture. Like, a lot of Muslim players that grew up in Europe probably would be easier for them to settle in a Muslim country. Vice versa, guys. Do you know what I mean? They'd find it better to sink in that way, maybe. That's the first thing Benzema said. Not only for the money am I coming, but he said he always wanted to live in a Muslim country, so I accept that. So also linked to teams in Saudi Arabia, so not just Al-Hilal. Other players that are linked to teams in Saudi Arabia include Hugo Lloris. If there's any Saudi Arabian people listening, don't sign him, do you know? Don't sign him. He like, maybe he might sell shirts. I don't know, will he? But that man's chocolate wrists. I know goalkeepers around the town that I would pick in a penalty shootout instead of that man. Also linked to move to Saudi Arabia. Again, guys, this is only June. We've plenty left. Jordi Alba, Romelu Lukaku. He seems like a guy that would definitely go to Saudi Arabia. And he would thrive because there's no pressure on. Anytime there's pressure on, that man turns in, like, just folds. Do you know what I mean? But, like, there'd be no pressure. He'd probably score 100 goals a season and he'd love it. Maybe. I don't know. Roberto Firmino is another guy who's actually just listening to offers. Fair play, you might as well listen to him, Firmino. Still without a club, Bobby Firmino. Linked with Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid. But he might go to Saudi Arabia as well if the money's sweet. Bernardo Silva as well. He's been linked with PSG, which is obviously oil money anyway. But he's also linked with Saudi Arabia. It actually says he can pick any team he wants in Saudi Arabia. I don't know how this shit works. How do you mean you can pick any club you want? So I think the government is signing you. I actually don't. I'm not going to comment on it because I don't understand it. I don't have a degree in accounting and I don't understand it. But this is Bernardo Silva's linked with a move to the Saudi Arabian League. I'm doing this tonight, guys, at night time. It's actually pretty late me recording this podcast because I was actually doing just some research on what players are going. And I'm wearing my pyjama pants, so you can't actually see it on YouTube because I'm at a desk. But I feel naughty. I feel vulnerable in my pyjamas right now. I really do. So do you know what I mean? But you can't see my pants, so it's all good. I could be naked. I might do most of my podcast naked and you wouldn't even know. Isn't that a funny thing? Maybe I do. It's not funny at all, Mike. Keep it going. Anyway, Bernardo Silva, linked with a move. So Sergio Ramos is another guy. Does talks of Sergio Ramos moving back to Atletico Madrid? Like, does the one place where he's not hated with a passion is Real Madrid, and you're just going to ruin that legacy? Silly. Anyway, so I've made a starting 11 of a team that, let's say, the all-star team, a team that you could make out that's in the Saudi Arabian League next year. And I think this team could challenge for a Premier League if there wasn't so many forwards on the team. Now, there's only 2 defenders and the rest of them are forwards. So I've gone for a 1-2-3-3-1. Wait, does that make sense? Have I too many players? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. I'll sort this out there, guys. So there is 3 defenders. That's okay. So a 1-3-3-3-1. That's too many players. No, that's right. Okay. So here we are. You'd have Mendy in goals. So Chelsea's goalkeeper, Edouard Mendy in goals. You would have Ramos, Busquets, and Jordi Alba in the back three. Do you know what? That back three is getting roasted. I take back what I said that they could win the Premier League. But hear me out for the rest of the team, okay? My 3 defensive midfielders, just ahead of my 3 dodgy centre-backs, are Brozovic, Kante, and Neves. That's a quality midfield, guys. You've a runner in Kante, you've an aggression in Brozovic, and you have that finesse in Neves. That's a quality midfield. Just ahead of them, then in the pocket, I'd have Bernardo Silva, and then out left, I'd have Neymar, out right then Ronaldo, and up front then Benzema. On the bench then you've the likes of Mahrez, Lukaku, all the other players. But like, that's an 11 that you could make out of the Saudi Arabian League next year, guys. Benjamin Mendy, Ramos, Busquets, Jordi Alba, Brozovic, Kante, Neves, Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva, Neymar, Benzema. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. A 1-11 of a team that you could sign for, or that could play next year in the Saudi Arabian leagues. So, like, I don't know, guys. What are you thinking about it? Are you thinking it's going to, like, we all love the Premier League. We all grew up watching it. Like, in the next 20 years, it mightn't even be 20 years, guys. It might be literally 3 years. This could all take over. Like, this could all be done and dusted in 3 years. Everybody could be gone. European football might be no more, guys. It might not be the creme de la creme. Do you know? And do you know what? It might be getting very close to Super League, maybe. Maybe this is the way they go about the Super League. There's something fishy going on anyway with that kind of stuff. I reckon they will come again with a Super League. But, like, oh, lads, it's completely wrecked the balance of football that was already wrecked anyway. I believe money has ruined football a long time ago. But this is taking the mick. This is just cementing it, isn't it? This is literally just going saying, do you want to play for a team that you've never heard of in your life? No man, like, don't tell me a kid was playing out his back and he wanted to play for Al-Hilal when he was older. Maybe now that Ronaldo and Neymar and Bernardo Silva and Benzema and N'Golo Kante, maybe the fact if they're all out there. I tell you what it will do, it'll make all the Middle Eastern teams way better. Or all the Muslim countries way better. We already had Morocco in a semi-final of the World Cup. Algeria are looking good, do you know? Like, Qatar hosted the World Cup. That's the other thing I will say, guys, about the change, do you know? Maybe we're fearing it and going, oh, Saudi Arabia, don't do it. Guys, the Middle East, They held a heck of a World Cup. Now, I wasn't a fan of it at first. I'm not a fan of all the bribery, the workers' rights, all that kind of shit. But they put on a show, guys, and this is entertainment. This is entertainment, and if you go on just to put all the other bullshit aside and just say, was that an entertaining World Cup? That was a very entertaining World Cup. That was one of the best World Cups I've ever seen in my life. And it was in a Muslim country. So give them a shot, guys. Give them a shot. Let's see what they do. Again, I think being afraid was a stupid thing to say at the start of the podcast. I'm not afraid, but I think wary. I don't know. I'm just worried to see, I suppose. Worried is probably the word. Is it going to fuck up my love for Liverpool? Is it going to fuck up the rivalry between Man United and Liverpool? Is it going to mess up the Premier League? Is it going to mess up the Champions League? Is it not going to be the coolest competition in the world? Well, then that means there's another cooler competition somewhere else in the world where there's more people living. We always think about us. We always think about the Europeans and that, like, there's another continent that has way more people than us, 4 times as many people as us, and maybe it's their turn to have a go. Maybe it's their, like, can you imagine being a fan of Liverpool and you live in Qatar or, like, you know, Afghanistan. You can never go see a game. Maybe now you can. Maybe now you can go see Ronaldo. You can go see your boys, like. I'm just talking about the men on the street. Now, I don't know, is there any men on the street in these countries? I think there's no, I don't know, are you just an absolute gazillionaire or are you poor? I think that's just how it goes in those countries. I don't think there's much middle class in these countries. But, yeah, to the men on the street in these Muslim countries, it's going to be easier for them to see. Like I said, Iran had an amazing World Cup, beat Wales, stuffed Wales. There's a lot of these countries that are really emerging, and this is only going to add to it. This is only going to add to the likes of Morocco and all these teams, Muslim countries, taking over in soccer. And soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, it's the number one sport in these countries. So, like, it's only a matter of time before it takes on, academies grow, and you're just going to see it develop. Yeah, the next 10 years, we're going to see a lot of change. More change than we've ever seen in football, ever, in the next 10 years, guys. So let me know what you think. Is it a good thing, bad thing? Let me know if I missed anything. Is there more players that I didn't even know? Just did some research on the internet, like, an hour before this podcast. I knew of half of them. I didn't know the other half. A lot of these are just links as well, guys. They're not factual yet, but I've stated the ones that have already been factual. But yeah, guys, that's the podcast. Thanks very much for listening. Please leave a comment, a like, a subscribe. If you're listening to it on Spotify, please leave a 5-star review. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks very much for listening, guys. Peace and love, y'all. Peace and love.